Hi there. I wanted to stop in real quick. I know earlier this month I shared some of what I was going through after our summit finished health-wise. And I continue to learn some things from this whole experience. And so I wanted to just kind of give you an update and share with you some of the things that I've been learning. I appreciate those of you who've reached out to tell me, get well soon, and I hope things are getting better and that kind of thing. And I thank you for that. What I will say is that this all started because I went to get a COVID test and they found that I had extremely high blood pressure. I have no personal history of hypertension. However, I do have family history. So while it was a surprise to me, it wasn't completely unexpected. And my doctor seemed to be more concerned than I was. And so I questioned that. It turns out, we didn't find this out till last week, when some paperwork had to be turned in for my husband's employer. But we found out that the hypertension I was experiencing, which they did tell me was a hypertensive crisis, but it was actually stroke level blood pressure. And the scary part about that is that I didn't feel any differently. There were no symptoms of super high blood pressure. And then I started thinking about it. You all know, I put a heavy emphasis on getting still. I have daily journaling and meditation practices. I do lots of yoga and breath work. And I left corporate world, which is where I thought all of my stress came from, 2 years ago. So I have a pretty low stress level in my life. So there's nothing to give us a clue as to why I all of a sudden developed stroke level high blood pressure. And that's a message for everybody, because I do all these things to care for myself and to be still and to activate my parasympathetic nervous system and to reduce stress. And yet I still had this hypertensive crisis. And so it's just kind of a reminder. Yes, pay attention to your body, be in touch with your body, but also, do those things to keep your body physically well. And pay attention. It may be just a slight change. For me, it was nothing. And so really what I got out of all of this is that I need to listen when doctors or anybody in the medical profession, healthcare system, tells me that there's something I need to look into. It occurred to me, the only reason we found this is because I went to have a COVID test. So if I hadn't gone to get a COVID test, I could be walking around today with stroke level high blood pressure and not even know it. That means you could immediately die, right? Now, I know all of us understand that there's nothing guaranteed except this present moment, but it does make you stop and appreciate what you have and appreciate the people in your lives. And that's all well and good, but it also has been a message to me to really continue to pay attention to my body and seek out those wellness checks that are recommended for everybody, and give the medical profession a break when they, I assumed that my high blood pressure was from the stress of sitting in an urgent care, waiting to be seen. And if I had just kept that assumption, I don't know where I'd be right now. So remember, you don't know the whole story. You don't know somebody else's story. And if somebody says, you really ought to get this checked out, listen, because you might ought to get it checked out. I'll be popping in and out for the rest of the year, sharing a little bit about my story and how I'm learning through this, in hopes that it'll be helpful to somebody who's watching. So thank you so much. Next week in the US is Thanksgiving. So take a moment to be grateful. I do that every day. That's another one of those practices. But it's a special time of the year here in the US, and be thankful. I'll talk to you again soon.